You're very focused on men's fashion. Is there a reason?
I view ourselves as we are solving problems.
How do you make them feel comfortable?
It's not about getting dressed up. It's just getting dressed nicely.
That's by showing respect on what I'm wearing.
That you can look good, but still feel comfortable.
Melissa, Austria.
Yes.
Yes.
Like the country.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. Like I said, I'm a little hungover, but
Well, hungover?
That's that lifestyle fashion.
exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how it is. Good hungover or bad? Like, did you have a good time last
No,
night?
I had a good time.
Oh, okay, good. All right, that's important.
Dancing. It's my stress release.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, of course. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell the audience a bit about yourself? Because you have a great fashion presence here. And I'm sure they want to know for those watching the video.
So I am owner and founder of Got Style.
Awesome.
So we're an award-winning menswear store. We've been around for, actually, this is going to be our 19th year.
Nice.
Wow.
I know, which is
Nice.
crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just goes to show how long it takes to really build a business,
Exactly.
right?
100%.
Make a brand.
How did you get started in fashion? So I read that you worked with like some designers like Valentino, Calvin Klein.
I actually got my start in menswear at Harry Rosen.
Oh, sick.
So that was my first job. I actually wasn't even in sales. I was working in the office doing like administrative stuff. And people on the floor were like, you know what, you should try out for sales. So I had an interview. And it's so funny with Harry Rosen because when you're starting off in sales, like I was in the basement. So I was only doing like, shirts and ties. I wasn't allowed to go upstairs and sell suits. You had to earn that right.
Yeah. So is that the goal when you're in fashion is you start in one area because you want to be a designer, or you would start in one area because you want to be like this? I don't know.
I think it was always, I knew I wanted to be in fashion. I didn't know what area. So I just started working at Harry Rosen. And then I moved into wholesale. So that was really a game changer for me. So
Nice.
wholesale means we're selling product to all the stores across Canada or the US or around the world. So I was lucky that I got very corporate in a sense, very early. And then it really taught me about numbers because fashion isn't about fashion. Fashion is about numbers.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I've realized. So having that background really made a difference. And then I was in wholesale for probably 15 years. I was working for a Danish company at the time. So I would go to, Denmark. Again, I had a lot of fun because I would walk, the first sales meeting I walk in and there's like every other country there, 20 guys. And I'm like the only woman. And I'm like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference was how the European men were dressing at that time. So, 20 years ago in North America, we were, Ed Hardy t-shirts, True Religion jeans, boxy 3-button suits, square-toed shoes. And I go to Europe and every guy is wearing like a slim jean, slim blazer, slim shirt. It was just a different vibe.
Look, yeah.
Yeah, and it was selfishly that if I need to look at the men of Toronto, then they better start dressing better. And so I'm going to do something because in Toronto at that time, there was either low end, so you had your tip top, your Moores, or it was high end. Harry Rosen,
Harry
Paul
Rosen's,
Reverend.
yeah.
And there was nothing in between for that, everyday guy. So I wanted to build something for that everyday guy.
Yeah.
So the first store that I had, I was crazy because I didn't have enough money to do it. I can't believe I did it.
Right.
But the very first store we had, we were a second floor that you had to buzz to get in. So we were on King Street. Before King Street was King Street, there was only, myself, Versailles, and Brand House
Yeah.
were there.
Yeah. I used to be a chef at a restaurant right beside Brent House called Alimento.
Yeah, I had really big dreams.
Yeah.
So the first store that we had, it was, 4,000 square feet, but it was set up like a men's loft.
Okay.
So we had flat screen TVs everywhere. We had a lounge set up. I had a $20,000 like club sound system in my store. store.
Yeah.
So I had a DJ booth, the whole thing. I had a barbershop. So we were the first in-store barbershop for men and the first in-store men's spa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had the full
Experience.
full
Yeah.
experience.
You were set.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah. So speaking on, fashion, it's very interesting, from a lot of takes. Like you mentioned how, numbers matter. It's not the fashion itself, the bottom line. I'm a creative at heart first. So hearing that, it's just the reality, like as much as I care more about the expression or the art form, you have to, figure out how you're going to make a business or money from it. But also it seems to me that you have a lot of passion for fashion. And, just a preface for the audience, I met you before the podcast and you just you didn't dismiss men's fashion as something that should be forgotten. And it was kind of interesting as a woman, you're very focused on men's fashion.
Yes.
Is there a reason why you're put that avenue?
Again, it's more transformational. Like I know the difference when a guy dresses well. And when he comes out of the fitting room and he's wearing a suit or he's wearing a blazer that fits him properly, he just stands taller and he just looks at himself differently.
I believe that, yeah.
So I really love that, giving that feeling to guys. With women, it's different. Women have way more issues to deal with when it comes to shopping.
They're very
versus men.
picky. Yeah,
They're very picky.
Yeah.
So I find with men, they're just easier to deal with. And I know the solution that we're giving them.
Yeah.
So that's how I don't view ourselves as a fashion store.
Right.
I view ourselves as we are solving problems. What is your problem as a guy? I need something to wear. I don't know what to wear to work. I have an event to go to. I don't know what to wear. So it's more, what's your problem? Let's find a solution for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that philosophy. And that's something that I could utilize because when I go into a suit store, no, I'm serious. Like I hate when they give me like answers. Men's store run by men.
Yeah.
I can't taper it anymore. Like the leg.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a way. I'm telling you. Like there's some because you're not matching my vision. And I think this is where you would come in your business, where it's like a young guy like myself. I see something online. I see like a certain aesthetic. Now, whether it's not maybe it's the material I'm choosing on the suit,
Right.
or maybe it's the way it's fitting on my leg. But I know I can match that appearance if I have the right person like yourself, right? And I proved that, because I went to another tailor and they were able to tighten it. So much so, because I'm describing a wedding party I was in, the other groomsmen were like, yo, I want it like that.
Oh,
because
really?
mine are too baggy. Yeah, because it's like, again, so I should say this. I love suits. I respect it. But I also love streetwear fashion.
Right.
And I know people are very particular on, how a person should dress. But I like what you said. When I wear a suit that is comfortable on me and that fits me properly, I feel more confident in my skin, and I think that's why people maybe steer away from suits, right? Or maybe most men are like kind of, they don't know what they're doing.
It is, but right now I find it is a really exciting time for menswear.
Right.
Because we're getting the mix of streetwear and sartorial.
Yes.
So it's all about all these suits that are made of a more comfortable fabric.
Yes.
So it's got this stretch. So when guys put it on, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm wearing my sweatpants or a hoodie, but I'm wearing a suit.
Yeah.
So to me, that is the most exciting thing happening in menswear right now, that you can look good, but still feel comfortable.
Yeah. Because that was a big thing for me, like working in the corporate world. I used to hate wearing a suit.
They're
'cause
uncomfortable.
It's like, it's uncomfortable. And again, I'm more of a creative, free-spirited person. I like movement. And I just felt really restricted. But like you were saying, there's definitely some modifications being made. I do want to mention this. When I was in Los Angeles, a good friend of mine, he is a huge endorser of, men's suits and of fine attire. And obviously myself, obviously coming from the creative filmmaker background, he's a filmmaker, I should mention too. Shout out Axel Arzola. He's like hard bent on, men should be wearing suits at all times. He actually was giving me a lot of shit. And
I like him.
Right. Yeah, no, yeah. I'll show you his Instagram after. You'll see what I mean. And astonishing man, very inspirational. And I said to him, I'm like, I still feel like a woman would appreciate you can do both, right? Because my whole thing is when you do see me with a suit on, it's like, whoa. But women also admire that you can pull off streetwear fashion because you can accessorize yourself, right? So anyway, we did this poll on his Instagram, and lo and behold, 67%, a lot of them being women, voted for me, saying that they prefer a man that knows how to dress in streetwear fashion. What's your take on that?
I think you can do both.
Okay.
But I think the biggest thing is, to me, I'm all about, we talked about this before, Saturday night.
Right.
One night a week.
Yes.
Don't wear your streetwear. Don't wear your hoodie. Don't wear your t-shirt because your girl is looking fine and you're being disrespectful to her by
Right.
wearing what you're wearing as opposed to dressing up.
I respect that. I respect that a lot, actually. Yeah, you're right. Because women do put a lot of time and care into their.
Yeah, it's so weird when you see dudes out in a t-shirt and jeans and a girl looking flying.
It drives me
Yeah.
insane. Like I have to hold myself back
Yeah.
for not doing something. But what I will do is if I'm out and I'll see a well-dressed man with a well-dressed woman, I will buy them a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I want
There you
to, I
go.
want to like reward good behavior.
Yeah, I try. You know, like my wife just kills it on the outfits. Like,
Yes.
she's like so good and out, like everything that she wears, and she's very thoughtful. And then like the jackets and then the money that's spent on this, and it's like okay, I'm like yo, we're going out to eat, and then she'll be dressed and like what am I gonna wear? You know, like help me, you know, because I don't want to like wear a t-shirt.
No.
You know, I want to like you know like kind of edify my wife. You know what I mean? So like,
Exactly.
and that's by showing respect on what I'm wearing.
Yes.
I think that's important.
And it's only one day a week.
Yeah.
Just like one Saturday night.
So
Make
that's
that
your-
your day.
That's
Yeah.
your theory. I love that. Yeah, one day a week. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of you look forward to that. It's a sign of respect as well.
100%.
I think my whole thing, that's why I kind of have to maybe pay more visits to your business is your problem solving is like, we don't know what we're doing or we
Right.
don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
Because I find the whole suit shopping experience quite intimidating. I'll be honest, is because like certain materials don't fit me well. And maybe the person, you know, consulting with me doesn't really understand what I want or my vision. Like I'm showing them exactly what I want from a
Right.
photo. And they'll say things like, you know, this is, you know, this is not the material for that, or you would look funny in that, or it's too tight on you, and this is what I mean by it. You have to work with the people that, you know, kind of understand that expertise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there a formula? Like the questions he's asking, it makes a lot of sense. Is there a formula to like matching or like or putting certain things together? Like I mean, back in the day, I'll just buy whatever's in the window. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
like
On a
yo, that
mannequin?
looks tight. I'm like, yo, let me get that. Let me get what that dude out
Yes.
there is wearing the mannequin.
Yes.
But then you watch like, okay, so one of my icons in fashion is Andre 3000. Like,
Okay, but he's a next level.
yeah, when I was growing up and Farms Bentley.
Yes.
Like so Farms Bentley has that like sophisticated look. Andre has that like sophistication but also like urban.
Yeah.
But it's just like fruitful. It's like a garden with multiple flowers, right? Not one row of orchids, one row, but it's like mixed.
It's mixed in. That takes a lot of expertise.
Yeah.
But I think for the everyday guy, that's why suits were so great.
Yeah.
Because it's a uniform. You don't have to think because the top matches the bottom already.
Yeah.
So then all you're doing is throwing on a t-shirt or a dress shirt. And then all of a sudden we have to mix and match clothes. Guys are like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But I think that's why, again, going back to that poll, a lot of women were preferring like why they enjoy a man in streetwear or like sort of fashion
Right.
aside from a suit, is because I think a woman interprets it as a skill set that a man can
Exactly.
have to match and, you know, change, you know, a different expression of fashion as opposed to just a suit. Because a suit, I'm not trying to like,
Yeah.
you know, hinder on it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, because I follow fashion and again, I'm a big proponent of streetwear. There's things that the way things are accessorized and put together. I'm not talking about like Kanye West and that guy, but there are just certain things that it's like, wow, they know what looks good on their body or they know what's gonna like look appealing.
But I think most guys that do streetwear don't do it to that level.
No.
All they're doing is wearing a hoodie
Yes.
and jogging pants.
That's
Sweatpants.
not fashion.
And
Yeah,
I'm guilty.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I've been guilty of that for sure, right? Whether it's financial constraints or whatever have you. But I think to your point, you have to be more bold, you know, because there's it's way beyond sweatpants and hoodies. Streetwear.
And I think the way to look at it is
Yeah.
so you've got your suit uniform and then your other uniform
Yeah.
is to work in threes. So you've got your bottom, your layering, and then always have a finishing piece.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be a blazer, it's going to be a zip up hoodie, it's going to be something that kind of so work in threes when you're putting an outfit together, not just the top and bottom.
Yeah.
That finishing piece could be a shacket, could be like anything, but that just sets you apart from anybody else. And again, it's still casual, but
Yeah.
it's just having that extra piece.
Yeah, I went by the guideline what Steve Harvey said is to buy 3 suits. you got your black, you got your blue, and you got your gray, and you can match them and switch up the shirts.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's like, you know, I think he was speaking to a lot of young men going into the business world. It's like, you don't need a lot of money to start off with.
No.
Just start like this, and then you can match them, like buy 2 pair of shoes, like a brown and a black, and that'll work with everything. So I think that's important for men. I think men do want to dress nice. And I think they don't. I think there's the education behind it is like, how do I dress nice? You know, I'm a guy. I like sports. You know, I like to go to a bar. I like to wear the hoodie.
Yeah.
But you also can do that looking, you know, good.
Exactly. And it's just having that foundation pieces in your wardrobe that mix and match together. And then for that, you just add on a few pieces.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm trying to work on right now, because I see a new generation of guys out there, exactly as you say. They only wear, you know, casual stuff. We have a whole generation of men that missed out on wearing a suit for the first time because they missed their grad.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was like a defining moment for a lot of men.
Yeah.
So they've missed that. And I see these young guys, and they want to almost rebel against casual, and they do want to dress better, but they don't know how. So I'm actually I'm almost done. I'm writing a book.
Oh, sick.
Oh, wow.
It's called Respect Your Style, How to Dress Like a Man. So it's, again, those basic points on how to build your wardrobe, how to clean your closet, how to get organized, what pieces you need to buy, and how to put them together.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
very cool.
Building a foundation kit for guys that'll have all the basic items that you need to have. And then also building something called your new suit wardrobe.
Okay.
Because as guys are going back to work, they're going to wear a suit again, but again, it can't be the old traditional suit.
Yeah.
It's got to
Yeah.
be a new type of suit for this new consumer. So
Yeah. This is different style, new consumer you're speaking. It's different
new
style.
fabrics.
Yeah, new fabric. There's a lot of nobility in your business, as well as your ambition, especially. No, it's just like just how you
Well,
are towards men. Yeah.
It's my original mission statement when I first started was clothes for guys to get laid in.
Oh, okay.
So it's really more about making you look good so you can get laid.
Yeah,
Yo, that's not a bad. That's not a bad one.
a lot of men will know how to fight you on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to get laid?
But
Yeah.
but this is what I mean, especially in this day and age. Maybe like I'm sure you're aware. It's just how men are kind of put to the sidelines and like not really focused on as much. You come here as like, you know, a strong, independent woman that, you know, runs her own business, and you want to like empower these men.
100%.
So yeah, where does this come from? This motivation.
Again, I think it's going back to, I love the feeling of helping guys look good and seeing how you can. So last night we were at an event. It was for the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, sick. That was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yo,
Yep.
so talk about fashion. Okay, you'll talk about this.
Let
and
her
get into
finish your
that.
point.
Yeah.
And, you know, guy was going with a, you know, group of guys, and then, you know, one guy showed up, didn't have a blazer, so he came to the store, bought a blazer. It was in a light purple color, something outside of his comfort zone. And at the end of the night, he's like, Melissa, I had so many compliments. I got so many numbers today.
Yeah.
And now I always say that your first outfit for me is like the first hit.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, Melissa, I need another hit.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, now he's coming in next week to get a whole other outfit because he's like, guys love that attention.
They
and it's
do.
with that randomness when you're, you know, getting your coffee and the barista's like, oh, you look nice. It's like, oh, well, I like that. I want to get another little hit of that again. So
Yeah.
that's
You
how it
feel
starts.
good though.
Exactly.
Like you feel good. It's like what did Deion Sanders say? You like you look good, you feel good, you perform good.
100%. And it's like
Yeah.
getting that feedback from strangers. And a lot of my guys who are now married, they're always like, well, why do I have to care if I look good? I'm married. And my answer to them is you can still always be offered the job. You don't got to take the job,
Yeah.
but you got to know, hey, I can still get the job if I
More
want
for
to get the job.
yourself. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also, I was just gonna say to that point, I never believed in that, where it's like you just let go once you find someone. It's like no, you keep and uphold a standard.
Exactly.
Right, because that's why part of the reason why the woman fell in love with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys who kind of give up.
Yeah.
And then I don't kind of see them again until they're divorced. And they come back to
And then
me.
they wonder why, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never understand, and it's not even just for the woman. It's just like I'm focusing more on yourself. Like,
Yeah.
like do it for yourself. Don't let go because you know this is it. Like wrap up your life because it affects every area of your life for the better.
100%.
Yeah.
Once you start to disappear as a man, then it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Once you stop caring about yourself, then you're just,
100%. I think you really gotta pay attention to yourself.
Yeah.
In that way, like just looking good, feeling good. A fresh pair of pants and a nice shirt.
Exactly, and a blazer.
Feels good. It feels good. So let's talk about the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
I'm a big component of the Kentucky Derby. I'm from the South. I love the show. I need to actually start going to Woodbine because you invited me last year.
Yes.
I think, right?
You've got to come.
I think
next
I
time.
wasn't around, but like Woodbine's pretty dope too.
Yeah, so we do the Greenwood Stakes every year. They do an amazing event, and it's so amazing to walk into a room where everybody is
good.
dressed up. And like all the women, they've got the fascinators, all the guys have got their hats on.
Yeah.
It is a great event. So
What's a fascinator?
fascinator is like the hat that the women wear with a weird
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
all over
yeah.
it.
That's like the signature look,
Yeah,
right? For
exactly.
the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
So the event that I was at, of course, every single woman was dressed, had a dress on, had a hat on, looked
right.
great. I would say only half of the men were wearing a jacket or even made an effort. Like there was still a lot of guys in just like a t-shirt and pair of jeans.
As a woman, I want to ask you this, or when you like observe those couples or those situations, do you feel it's necessary that they need to make an effort?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, do you read what I'm saying? Do you read the woman like they're maybe uncomfortable or they feel like sad or they're not?
Not really. So it's so funny that there is a group of women, and when they come in shopping with their other half, I notice that they actually don't want their boyfriend or husband to look good.
Oh wow, really?
So,
That's that's
because they want all the attention on themselves.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like their guy puts on something, he looks great, and she's like, "No, I don't like that." And then
But you're like, that looked good.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So that's another
interesting psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can kind of see that. I don't know if that's like a red flag.
I think it's a red flag. I think it's a red flag.
Yeah, I think
Like,
so too. I like looking good together.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, like I don't know if someone watching this would be like, "Oh, I do that," but that doesn't make me insecure. But I believe, Liz, looking on experience, yeah, that's a pretty much of a red flag.
100%. Because exactly, you want to look good together as a team. 'Cause
Yeah.
you are a team, so
Yeah.
you want to go out there.
I think
and
it's badass.
Be that power
Yeah.
couple looking good.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
gives you that cohesion, that cohesiveness, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's dope.
I think we joked about what I was trying to do for Saturday night.
Oh yeah. They want to do like hold up some signs on King Street.
Right. So I
Oh
wanted-
right, yes. Please tell us about that. And what was
Yeah.
the phrase you used? Because I forgot it.
Get laid.
No. It was a catchy
no
one.
blazer, no blowjob.
No blowjob. That's right. That's
Oh
right.
my
Yeah.
God, let that seep in your mind.
No blazer.
So
no
again,
blowjob.
it's more women to like we should be protesting the fact that it's a Saturday night. We put all that effort in to look good. Like to look good as a woman, you got to get your nails done. You got to get your hair done. You got to get your lashes done. Like
Yeah.
you got to get the waxing done. You got an outfit on. You got to put heels on. And then for the guy not even to put on a blazer,
I know.
like ladies, we
know.
need to protest this. So I wanted to do a Saturday night protest on King Street because King Street is like awful right now. And that we're walking around, all these hot women with like signs going, no blazers, no blowjobs.
Yeah, I like that.
That would end up on Six Buzz for sure.
That'd be on 6 Bus for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And we get some people raising their eyebrows. Yeah. That's why I asked you that is like if men really do need to put an effort because you just answered my question. Like there are some women I feel because you have this whole passion. Like why aren't they should be be proud to be with a woman that's dressed the same way and they should feel empowered. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of men low-key don't feel it because maybe their women aren't holding them to that standard.
Exactly. I think it's definitely the women are allowing their guys to leave the house dressed the way they are, knowing that they're going to a nice place for dinner.
Yeah.
Like you're going to a fancy restaurant. Like it's $40 for a glass of wine. You should be dressed a little bit better.
Well, I mean, like you said, that's a red flag in a lot of ways because I think if you're in a relationship with somebody, you should want each other to be good. And let's just take away the fashion from it. Like your wife, you should lift her up. Your husband, you should lift him up. Like if your
Exactly.
wife is trying to be the CEO of a company, you should do what you can do at home to help her get there. So maybe take away the stress, take away this, like, okay, focus on that job and the vice versa. Like your wife should do the same for you. And so like if you're in a situation where, you know, you go to a clothing store and like you're looking fly and you're like, nah, I don't like those shoes. No, that's a red flag. I honestly think so, because like you're not trying to be
not in sync.
equal. Yeah, not in sync. I like
we
that.
definitely see that a lot.
You probably see a lot of drama,
Yes.
right?
And
At
it's
your
really
show?
more when a couple does come in, you always sell to the woman. You don't sell to the
So
man.
you always sell because the woman controls the wallet.
I know, which I really find annoying. You're a grown ass man, and you can't make it. Or the worst is
I'm with you on that.
when they come in. Oh, I have to check with my wife. You can't fucking buy a shirt without asking your wife.
I was-
Give me
Yeah,
a break.
right?
Oh wow,
I experienced that in sales.
Oh.
When I used to work at
Yeah.
Bell, I was about to close a big, I would make commission, right?
Right.
And I was about to close a huge deal, and the guy was convinced.
Yeah.
And the guy runs the account, his name's on it, no indication his wife's on it. Yeah, I got to talk to my wife. It disappeared, and I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, you're the one making the money. Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I respect it in some ways, you know, like I come from a conservative household, like there should be that dynamic. But
Yeah.
back to your point, you know, the thing with, okay, maybe that was a bad example because it's a household manner.
Right.
But this is your fashion. This is how you perceive yourself.
Exactly.
And it's like, yes, you can ask, you know, for an opinion or a taste, but like if you feel confident about that look,
then you should.
and the
be
person you're with trusts you,
Exactly.
right, on how you appear, you should make that executive decision,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But not like I gotta go home and ask my wife first before I can buy your shirt.
You know what? I only do that when I don't want to spend the money or I don't want you to leave
Yeah.
me alone.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I gotta ask the wife. You know what I mean?
Sometimes when it's a budget thing, it's
True.
like, let me get a
Yes.
second take. Like
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
looking at laptops the other day, and for some reason, I'm like, maybe I should get two, like one for this and one for that. So I'm about to drop like 10 grand, and I'm like, something's wrong.
Yes, exactly.
I gotta talk to someone.
Yeah.
And then I ended up
Therapist.
consolidating. Yeah, a therapist. There you go. Yeah.
Yo, so when you get guys that come into the store and you sense that it's their first time in like some kind of like a store like that, how do you make them feel comfortable?
Definitely by joking around with them. Like we're really a low pressure sales.
Yeah.
Like we're not on. My team isn't on commission. I tell them I'm okay if you lose a sale because I'd rather the guy look good.
Yeah.
So I think having that confidence, because we're not a high pressure sales, makes a difference. And then the new store that we just opened up at the Well.
I missed that party.
I know, it was a good party.
Yeah.
We're getting my cash desk is going to be this 10-foot mahogany bar.
Yeah.
So we're getting a liquor license. So I noticed, of course, if you give somebody a drink, all of a sudden their defenses come down, they're a little bit more relaxed, and then it makes the shopping experience fun. Because I do believe if we're going to get you off your couch to come to a store and shop in person, it has to be more of an experience.
Which is way better than online.
Exactly. Because online is a very lonely shopping. And it's hard for a guy. You can't buy a blazer online. You can't buy a suit online.
No.
You can't coordinate online. So we need to make it more.
You need a
about-
consultant.
You need a consultant.
Yeah. You guys do a good job at that too. I remember last year I went to the Toronto fashion. It's going on right now,
Yep.
and you guys linked me up with a beautiful blazer. I was like,
Yeah.
I was up front, right? I was feeling good about myself. I was like, man, I'm looking fly. It was like almost like a crushed velvet. It was
Nice.
dope.
Yes.
It was a black crushed velvet.
And you were front row too, so
I was
you were
front row. I was
good.
looking fly, man. It felt good, you know. It feels good. You ever like got fitted?
Yeah, I did, but very, very rarely. Like I said, it's just on like specific occasions. And then back to your point about just not men feeling comfortable in the experience.
Yeah.
Because especially when you go to like a retail store in the mall, right? There's been some nice suit stores in the past, Italian makers and stuff. But I don't know. There was something that off. I felt comfortable like in your store because there was like this masculine like presence, like with how everything was organized, like the couches and the aesthetic, like the decor. So like. It was also like spacious. Like I felt like I could breathe.
Yes, exactly.
I know it's something so finicky to say, but like, yeah.
Guys need space.
Yeah, like I felt like if I put on my suit, I can walk around in it. I can look at myself. You know what I mean? It just didn't feel like a judgmental environment. But
Yeah.
I can see why, just speaking to you, why like I was more reluctant in buying suits. It's just I'm not going to the right places.
Exactly.
Yeah, and just not understanding, how to stylize myself with the right materials.
And it's sometimes fun just to, and we definitely encourage guys to, we have something else that we launched called Get More Swipe Rates.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's more just we'll do your dating profile. You come to the store, we'll put you in 3 different outfits and take pictures of you.
Whoa.
And then you can upload it onto your dating profile. And there's no obligation to buy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it goes back to the philosophy, if we get you laid,
You're gonna come
then
back.
you're going to come back.
Yeah.
That is so smart.
Yeah.
Wow, that's entrepreneurial to the
And
max.
it's also because I have a lot of single girlfriends and I'm on their dating sites and guys' profile pictures, especially if
Horrible.
they're like, I've never seen so many bathroom selfies in my entire life.
No way.
Wait, like it's so
Oh,
bad.
I thought that was an easy thing. Like, don't put the bathroom
Exactly.
selfie.
Well, I
No.
think it's for guys who are a certain age. They just don't have pictures of themselves.
Yeah.
So they resort to bathroom selfies. And there's one like the toilet seats up. And like, I don't want to
No
see
way.
your toilet
Oh, man.
seat.
They're not even trying at this point.
That's not trying because like when you start living with a woman, like yo, the toilet seat is like that biggest red flag.
That toilet seat better be down, right?
Yeah. Wow.
That's hilarious. It's interesting to hear from a woman's perspective. I think a lot of men don't kind of like hear someone like yourself, like your viewpoint, like what you just said, right? Toilet seats up, you're taking a bathroom mirror. Just having the proactivity to, like, if you're on those sites,
Yeah.
you know, to know what's appealing to a woman, like maybe you should search it up, you know, the do's and the don'ts,
Yeah.
right? Like men being shirtless, let's say, right? Like,
Yes.
just not as, yeah,
Not.
of course. You'll catch maybe like the 1%, but for that, women aren't wired the same way. Right?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
So
And I think guys don't realize that if you can be a 5, but if you dress better, you can go up 2 or 3 points
100%.
just by dressing better. Because then it just shows, oh, I know how
It's
to
competence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know how to put
Yeah.
clothes together. I understand how important it is. So it's going to reflect in other avenues of your life. Okay, so he probably going to understand about culture and be a little bit more well-traveled because he's well-dressed.
And again, not to denounce suits, that's I think why that poll won. Because my friend was just shocked, and I'll show you, like I said,
Yeah.
his profile. He was just like, I don't get it, and I made the whole speech to him. Is like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think because with suits,
It's an easy.
it's more, yeah, like at face value, it's like, okay, a suit, a jacket, how much can you F it up,
Yeah.
right? But
Right,
with the
putting
whole
together-
fashion, it's like you said, competence. It's like, okay, this guy understands, this guy's
Yeah.
cultured, this guy,
Exactly.
goes out, right? So women look at those things, and it's about
100%.
yeah,
I think women look at those things more than just physical appearance. I think men are more physical in terms of if they're good looking.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, a woman will go for an average looking guy if
dress
he's dressed
nice.
better.
Yeah.
Because they
100%.
want the personality as well.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that.
It shows. It actually, when you dress nice, it shows. It shows like you're an adult, and it shows that
Yes.
it's like okay, you got your stuff together. Like if this guy does bring me back to his house, it's probably going to be nice in there. It's probably going to
Exactly.
beer cans everywhere.
Yes.
You're like it's probably this guy probably has a nice liquor cabinet.
Exactly. This toilet seat's probably down and the toilet's
Yeah.
probably
My
clean.
God.
Yeah. Those are some things that women can tell just by dressing. Oh, this guy's a bum.
Yeah. It's just and it's also like just again in like 2024, like one of my girlfriends went out on a date with a guy and he was wearing like these, square-toed shoes that, were out of style from the past 15 years.
even now, it's
And she's
like-
just like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
And men don't get that. Like women
No.
will get turned off by the like littlest things.
Exactly.
That's true.
But I have to say, like, it's because I had this conversation actually with a few buddies, and maybe it's just my acquired taste, but for women, I kind of prefer them. Like, I enjoy. There's like a meme going on Instagram, a woman that could do both. I can dress up in like a fantastic dress, like
100%.
call it a premiere girl, like one
Yeah.
of the movies, whatever. But then there's like one that's just like wearing like the baggy pants, and she has like a crew neck, done in a tasteful way, of course, because there's a whole market for that.
'Cause that's still style.
Yeah,
Putting that together
yeah.
is still style.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and again, everyone to each his own. Like everyone's different. Again, back to my friend, I think he leans more towards like a woman that dresses up. And I'm like, no, there's something, I think it's sort of like that modesty to it. Again, maybe we're all wired differently. Like for a guy, it's like for me, that is, and I know a lot of guys like I've talked to relate to this, is when a woman like doesn't dress like above and like all this makeup and like a dress, and she can pull off, just like a hoodie or like, those New Balance shoes, let's say, right? There's that modesty that's like kind of refreshing.
No, and I think but again, I think that's a style level because the issue that I think a lot of guys have is that they think casual means sloppy.
Yes.
So you can
Yes.
still be casual,
Yes.
but not look like a disheveled slob.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think women understand that they can be cute casual.
Yes.
But guys kind of, it's like they have their suit and they have the clothes that they clean the garage with.
Yeah.
And it's that in between
The
stuff.
overalls. Showing up to do no.
It's the in between stuff that guys have.
And I
problem
mentioned, I just caught myself. I mentioned overalls as a joke, but the right person with the right style,
Totally.
like Bieber, I saw like he was pulling it off at
Exactly.
a fashion week shoot, and I was like, yeah, you could do it again.
Yep.
Competence, right? I'm sure he has
Exactly.
people helping him, or he's come a long way himself, but it matters.
Yeah.
It's an extension of you.
because at least you're doing something different.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather see overalls versus a crappy T-shirt with a ketchup stain on it.
Yes. Oh yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I laugh because I'm like, who would walk around with a ketchup stain? But you're right. Like there are people that just don't register. Like that shirt's dirty. Like
Yeah.
clean it, right?
And then they wonder why they're not meeting women.
Yeah. I mean, that looks sloppy. It looks like a slob. Honestly, when you just like, don't take care of yourself when it comes to like stains and stuff, Yeah, I mean, I always have this picture in my mind where you see that guy playing video games and eating popcorn and got a Kool-Aid stain on his
Yes.
shirt. Like that's in my mind. Okay, so I wanted to talk about like shoe wear.
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh my god, my favorite.
one of the
topic.
most one of the most iconic shoes in the world are Jordans.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely insane. Growing up watching the guy and like an incredible basketball player and like how this brand has blossomed. And
Blossom like fucking stratosphere.
yeah, and it's taken off and he's 60. He hasn't
Untouchable.
played in 25, 30 years. And that's just incredible to me. But so I want to talk about is like, you can really look good with a pair of Jordans on anything.
Exactly.
And there's like because of the color coding of them, like you can wear a tuxedo, you can wear anything you want to wear, and you can rock some Jordans and still look good. How do you feel about the streetwear shoes and
mixed with the tutorial.
yeah,
I love it because
Yeah.
again, you're making an effort. You're thinking about, okay, I'm going to wear these shoes with this outfit because it goes together. And I think because a lot of men have very few options for accessories.
yeah,
So your shoes, your watch are really your main accessory points. So I'm like, I love to hear guys are like obsessive about Jordans and they've got like, 50 pairs and they're all in the, glass box and they've got
Yeah.
them at home.
yeah.
Mounted,
Exactly.
floating on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just shows that they care in a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy who's into that isn't going to be the guy that's going to be sloppy when he's casual. He's going to be cool casual.
Yeah.
So he'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a representation of who you are, your competence.
Yeah.
And this is actually like it's a pattern because obviously I know your wife, and again, very strong, competent woman like my mother, who raised me to be that way, right? How you leave the house, if my shirts, I have a habit where the hanger, it's always a bump on my shoulder. And sometimes I'm just, again, being a guy about it, where it's like, I just got to go. I'm in a rush, whatever. And she's like, no, wear a different shirt. Or if you have to iron it, you do it like that, So just surrounding yourself with those kind of individuals,
Yeah.
I think that's what's important.
And
right?
it's not about getting dressed up. It's just getting dressed nicely.
Nice.
Yes.
So I think, again, there's that
And I'm with you on that. Yeah.
issue that guys think, oh, if I'm dressing up, I've got to wear a suit all the time.
No.
It's not. It's even in your casual stuff. Just making that little extra effort by wearing the best, coolest, newest Jordans,
Yeah.
with your look to pop.
Yeah,
it.
yesterday that's what I did for my mom's 60th. We went to a beautiful restaurant, high end. It was like Michelin star. I wore just fitted jeans that were
Yep.
black. A simple shirt that was like over the shoulder because that's like I'm into that style.
Yep.
And my Jordans, like it was a newer style,
Yep.
like low cut with different laces, and I got compliments on it. And that's just my style because I feel comfortable in it.
Exactly.
If I really wanted to, maybe I could have worn a suit. But like you said, that simplicity, there's like a competence to it.
Right.
Yeah. Who are some fashion icons that you like? Just think about.
So it's so funny because I am a non-fashion person. You guys are
Interesting.
probably more into fashion than I am.
businesswoman.
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
So I'm really more, when I think about what I do, I'm more of a curator. So when you come to the store, we're, a multi-branded store. So I'm more putting together all the pieces that I want to see my guys wearing. But I'm not into fashion because I think once you say fashion to guys, it scares them. Because then they think about all those weird runway shows where guys are walking down wearing like all plastic and whatever, and they think, oh, I don't want fashion.
Yeah.
So like you have to be really sensitive on that topic. So again, it's not fashion; it's really more style. So I'm definitely going to lean towards anyone. I'm more of a classic, so I'm going to be like a George Clooney or a Brad Pitt. Like I like that more serious, grown up, always wearing a jacket when they're going out. Like, you know, any man that ever wears a tuxedo always looks good.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So I'm
Yeah.
more on that classic side as
James
opposed
Bond
to the
look.
Respect to that.
100%.
Yeah.
I like that James Bond iconic look.
I know.
Yeah. I have a green tux.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick.
I like that.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, I saw you wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, no, fashion is very important in society, and it's never gonna go away.
But I think the fashion right now is all geared towards street style.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it is.
it
yeah.
is. It's
But there's some
completely-
pushback now because
Yes.
bringing up like Jordans or, you know, that the dunks, you know,
Yeah.
like the pandas. In my generation, like a lot of people were like posting about these things where it's like if I see that you wearing pandas, you know, the black and white one,
Right.
because everybody has it. It's
Yeah.
basic, quote unquote. The reason why there's pushback and there's like, you know, condemning that is because you don't have any competence, right? You
Right.
don't know how to accessorize. It's like I'm just gonna buy the latest thing. That's how I personally feel. Hot take
Yep.
on those like New Balance shoes I see a lot of girls wear. I know it's very trendy, but it's like one and done. You know?
Well, I mean, what do you think about this? Fashion is like recycled, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
like you have the 50s, you have the 60s, and then like then the 50s can be, you know, the 2020s again. Like there's certain accessories that you can use.
True, but I always find it's always tweaked differently. So it's not like you can, you know, now that fuller pants are coming back in style, doesn't mean that you can bring back your double pleated pants from the 90s and, you know, wear them again because they're tweaked a little bit differently in the sense that they're what we call more like a carrot top. So
Yeah.
they're fuller at the top with a double pleat and then still trimmer towards the calf. Double-breasted's coming back for a certain type of guy. Doesn't mean that you can wear your old double-breasted suits from the 80s because again they're tweaked
They're
differently.
made a different way. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
right. It's recycled but modified.
Right.
Yeah.
But then if that's the case, then we should be hitting an era of dressing back up again. Because we haven't had a dress up era for so long. Like you think about the past, you know, 15 years, it has been really more street style, more
I was just gonna
casual.
say,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, right? You know, I'm 29, but when I was like a kid, like the early 2000s, just like anything changes,
Yeah.
like what's considered attractive. Streetwear was not considered
No.
cool, sexy, any of that. Girls weren't into it, guys weren't into
Yeah.
it, right? And that's changed, right? Especially with the whole like, you know, hip hop and rap, you know, being mainstream, you know, becoming more of a trend and, you know, just the way things are being cultured and accessorized. But yeah, it was about wearing a suit, you know, looking good. Back to your point, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
These were
Yeah.
people, these were idols that like, you know, I would hear women older than me like revere, right?
Right.
They still do, but it's like you don't hear it as much,
No.
you know, compared to the girls my age who they consider to be, you know, attractive and they're what you see what they're wearing. And it's like, that's very interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right now it's all oversized. For the younger
Yes,
generation,
yes.
it's back to how Friends used to be. When you
Yeah.
take a look at
The
Friends,
90s, yeah, oh my
exactly, and
God.
you see Chandler Bing and
I
what he used
hated
to
those
wear.
suits. I know.
They were so
The
bad.
dress shirts. Oh my
that was
God.
horrible.
That's a horrible. But that was the era of how men dressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
And now for the younger guy, it's
Mm-hmm.
coming back to that.
Yeah.
I know. I've never understood it. Like for the getting back to suits specifically.
Yeah.
Like celebrities, I'll see them on the red carpet wearing like the pant like
I
covers their whole
know.
shoe.
Exactly.
what's going
Like, don't we have
on?
a stylist
Yeah.
for this?
Like someone's fashion, I really admire. Talk about men's fashion. You know, Crazy Stupid Love. You know the movie.
Yes.
Ryan Gosling.
I
Ryan
love
Gosling.
that movie.
The way he dresses in that
Oh,
movie,
is
he's a
amazing.
fantastic overall. Like
Yeah.
you know his sense of style, but like
Yeah.
that always screams to me of like that's
That's
like,
how men
the
should
pinnacle,
dress.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And that one line, you're better than the Gap.
Yeah, but
yeah, you know, he's like, you know, I remember he goes, "Are you Steve Jobs? The way you dress? Are you the founder of Apple? Hold on, what's going on here?" Because he dressed it like that. Yeah.
I grew up in a household where my dad was just like, we had to always dress up to, like before we leave the house. Like my dad would not let us leave the house at a certain way. I mean, okay, if you live in a black family in the South, it's like
Yeah.
you know. It's weird. Like I watched some videos online, and they're not lying. Like where the father's like washing the kid's face, but it's like, and they're like and doing their hair, like making sure they look good. It's like taking care of them. Like they step out the house, like I see those videos and it reminds me of the way I grew up. Like I see videos of my dad or pictures of my dad back in the 60s or 70s rocking bell bottoms.
Yes.
And looking fly though.
Yes.
You know, like looking fly with the
key.
low cut blazer.
Rocked it. He rocked it.
Yeah, low cut blazer, like great bell bottoms. Like, man, when are they gonna come back?
I know. I do want that to come back.
Yeah.
Just that whole Saturday Night Fever
Yeah.
mentality.
Because
Again,
men look good then.
Yes. And
Yeah.
again, it's going back to that one night a week, dressing up, and it's being a big deal.
Yeah.
Like spending the time to look good, choosing your outfit.
Yeah.
I love that. I want that to come back.
Yeah. I'm really into Western style now. Like that's kind of, I mean, I've always been into it my whole life, but I'm really into it like even more now. Just like Western wear, where I'll wear like I wear my cowboy hat,
Yeah.
for instance, or like a nice shirt with a really, really good pair of jeans. And every once in a while, depending on the occasion, a blazer.
Yep.
So I'm really into that. That's really cool.
Or even that look with, great pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
still, I like mixing, like wearing my cowboy boots with a suit.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of the
Yeah.
juxtaposition of
Yeah.
giving it a little bit of an edge to it.
What are some? So when I think of you, there's a song that's this guy. He's like I don't know if he's ever a good artist, but it's a song called "I'm a Classic Man."
Yeah.
And like, it's just like, yeah, it was a dope song because you watch the video, it's like always dressed in fly.
Yeah.
So okay, summer vibes. Like, what's a good look for the summer? This summer?
Continuing with a lot of the matching sets.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of knitwear too.
Mm-hmm.
And knitwear is great for guys because it's more elevated than a t-shirt, but not as fussy as a collared shirt.
Got you.
And it's going to have like that kind of retro, 40s, 50s stripe down the front. And it's either going to be like a popover knit or it's going to be a button through knit, which is great because you can undo a couple of buttons, show a
Yeah.
little chest.
Yeah.
And then you're going to match that with, so it's either that kind of look, the knitwear, or the matching set still,
Mm-hmm.
where it's a Cuban collar style shirt, a little bit loose, flowy with a pattern to it, and then a matching short to go with it.
Sick.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for that tip.
Yeah. I'm going. It's just like a lot of people out there in this world. For me, I believe the way of freedom is entrepreneurship, and like whatever that looks like to you, whether it's a millionaire or just having more time with friends and family. You're an entrepreneur. So like, how did that work in the beginning? Like, is there any tips you can give somebody like right now that don't understand how to get there and think there's only one way? Because like the richest man in the world is a man that owns a luxury goods company.
Right.
And it's like, you would think it would be Elon Musk or like tech. It's not. It's like luxury goods is not tech. So
No.
like, is there some kind of like insight you can give to anybody who's listening that might want to be who you are?
I think one thing with being an entrepreneur that I've had to kind of change my thinking on is that it's not always about the money. It is about the lifestyle too. So being an entrepreneur, you can live a good lifestyle in the sense that I can write off everything. I don't have to pay for clothes. I can, write off my entertainment expenses, write off my car, write off a lot of things. So especially right now in Canada, the way that we're taxed, you got to look at money in a different way. It's also the money that's in your account, and it's also the other things that you can have with being an entrepreneur that's not actual dollars, but it is dollars.
Yeah.
So I find because of that, I don't put myself in a high tax bracket, but then I write off everything else so I can have my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think clothing, opening up a resale store is tough because a lot of people don't realize, A, we buy 6 months in advance. B, like I've got, probably, $500,000 worth of clothing in my store that I've got to pre-commit to, and I've got to pay off before I actually sell it.
So there's no consignment.
You can do consignment, and that it is sort of a good way sometimes, but it's almost like if I wasn't committed to buy your product to begin with, having it on consignment sometimes doesn't help because it means I don't really believe in your product. So, and I do think too that right now being an entrepreneur is so varied because you're not just doing your business, you're also doing all the marketing.
Yeah.
And now with social media, digital media, like there's so many different hats that you're wearing. But I think at the same time, that's what makes it so fun. Like I love what I do because every single day is different.
Yeah.
And you're always, you're working on collaborations, you're working on a private label, you're working on doing different events. So it's such a varied prospect. But again, you can get into the fashion and retail space by doing it something smaller, like in terms of online. Like direct to consumer is a great way of doing it.
Yeah.
If you want to have practice setting up a store, doing a pop-up. But I will say the most important thing is numbers. So knowing your accounting. It's like, of course I have a bookkeeper, but at least I know how to do my own cash flow. I know how to do a P&L. Because you do have to be watching your numbers all the time.
Yeah, even if you have somebody, because if they know numbers better than you, they can take a penny.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
A penny every day is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always being on top of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Very wise words from both industries.
Yeah, take accounting.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I admire about you, right? It's not just you're a fashionista and like, I love, accessorizing.
It's a business.
Obviously, you want to do well financially, but I do believe if I stay true to what my core goal and value is, that eventually it will come all together.
I love that. You can tell you like every time we ask you about the business, you always go back to your original statement. It's like, because I care about the way men look. It's great because like I care about the burger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I actually genuinely care about like you enjoying the burger. That first feeling I had when I first cooked a burger, or not a burger, but in the restaurant, and I saw somebody eat it and they smile and they were happy. I care about that moment. I want to recreate that, right? So
100%.
you have that genuine feel. Like I think that's one of the keys to success in being an entrepreneur is caring about the business.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's how you build that strong brand.
Yeah.
Because people forget, like, yes, of course your product needs to be well enough, but the ones that are making the most money, is the product the best quality? Perhaps maybe not. What does that brand mean to you?
Exactly.
So someone comes to your store, a man, and leaves.
Yeah.
Or like my experience speaking with you, I know when I see your store, I walk by it, or I'll come across that logo or the brand online, I'll understand now the whole story, that personalized story with it. So I think that's what I'm a huge advocate about that too. Just coming from film, right?
Yeah.
It's like, are you looking to make money off of being a videographer and pointing and shoot, or are you a visionary that's trying to tell stories that transcend generations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is what will lead to your success. And again, it's not purely financial success. It's also success in doing what you're doing that'll come in other ways. I believe it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, this has been fantastic. I think this has been
great. This has been great. Like, I mean, I honestly feel like we can go on for a long time.
100%.
And I didn't really look. We've had a lot of people on food, different aspects of different businesses, social media, and like
all walks of life. That's the move. Yeah,
that's the move. And like fashion, I didn't know. Like I don't know. Fashion just resonates to everybody. So it's been great. This has been really good.
This has been a ton of fun.
This is awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks everybody else for listening.
That's the move.